Hello everybody! Today we're going to be getting a little bit more creative and artsy. I'm going to be making a card, but first I'm going to start off with my alcohol inks. I have a salmon, a pink sherbet, a lemonade, and a peach Bellini. And I have some glossy cardstock that is from the Cheri collection from Teresa. And we're going to kind of color some of these flowers to put on our card front. Now you're going to need alcohol ink and 91% isopropyl alcohol works best. I just have a really crappy paintbrush that I don't care too much about, and we're gonna paint. So let me zoom out just a tiny bit. We're gonna start off with this flower in the corner, and one nice fun thing about glossy cardstock is that you can use alcohol ink to paint on it. You can also do the same thing with photo paper, which I have done in the past. So we're gonna work on this one. I am going to, in this palette, I'm going to kind of maybe we're gonna do pinks and yellows and peaches. I thought that they would work really well. So we're just gonna start off and we're gonna play. So let's get started. And if we get outside the lines on this one, it will be okay because we're gonna end up cutting this out. So we're just gonna use this flower right here. We're not gonna be necessarily using the leaf or anything like that. So that salmon is really, really light. So I'm gonna add a little bit of pink to my salmon and alcohol mixture. And a little goes a long way depending on the alcohol ink color. And we're just gonna kind of, layer these up because flowers are super organic. We're just gonna have fun with this. We're not gonna necessarily really worry too much about things. And because it's a flower, we're just gonna add colors as we go. This was the lemonade. And before that was the pink sherbet. So this is making a really pretty sort of sherbety color, kind of peachy. And then we're gonna try the peach Bellini. We'll add that over here. And like I said before, it doesn't matter that you get out of the lines. You're just going to kind of layer this up. You can fan it to dry it. You could also use a heat tool if you had one, which I think I'm gonna get my heat tool out. We'll dry that down and then we'll kind of layer up until we get what we want. All right, and this one this one's gonna be more the peach color, and then we're gonna use the pink color a little bit more over here. So we'll have maybe kind of two separate colors in this. So the sherbet and the salmon, the splash of alcohol everywhere. You could use a pipette for this if you have them. You can get pipettes on Amazon or potentially at like your local drugstore or something like that. So as you dab, you can see that it's kind of reacting with the dried alcohol ink on the thing, and then you can just dry it and see how it turns out. All right, now that we have our flower finished, we're gonna cut it out and then create our card front. Sometimes it's easier wielding a smaller piece than the big piece of paper. There we go. All right, and for my card base, I'm going to be using 110-pound cover white paper from Nina. It's in the color Solar White, and I will link that down below. This is great for cards. I will say it doesn't go through all printers necessarily. I know it doesn't go through my laser printer. I know that 110-pound index does, which is technically a different weight. And that's a whole nother basic science sort of thing. But this is a really nice, sturdy, thick cardstock that'll really make your card feel luxe. Now I am going to be making a 5x7 card. Why? Because I have these beautiful leftover envelopes from what? My wedding, like 10, 15 years ago that I found in my stash. So use the things that are in your stash. This is what I had. This is what I'll be using to send these. So for a 5x7 card, the paper needs to be 10 inches wide and 7 inches deep. And then you're going to need to score it at 5 inches. And there we have our card base. All right, so once I finished this flower, I decided to pull some of my other elements and things like that. I pulled out some die cuts, I pulled out some stickers, and I just kind of went through everything to see what I thought would work for this card. I want this card to be more of kind of an empowerment card. So what I ended up using were some elements from some die cuts from the Bold Life Ephemera collection. I found this BU, and then I found Confident, Beautiful, and Independent. And so I had some scraps left over from some of the other cards that I'm making, and I just pulled them. So what I thought would be fun would be if I just kind of had a stripe down the center of the card that kind of accentuated that, and then maybe this, just kind of play around with what you have and don't necessarily think that you have to, you know, conform. So look at that. I think that looks pretty good. So here we'll have the flower hang off the bottom, we'll have the stripe going down the middle, and we'll have this die cut in the kind of top half of the card. So I think that'll look great. Now, one of the things about die cuts that are pre-cut for you is that sometimes they have these little bits on the edges that if you put it on a dark background like this, you can kind of see them sticking out. How do you solve that? With a nail file. You just find where they are and just file them down, and no one will be the wiser. This works for almost anything. If you have a little piece of paper sticking out or you miscut something, your nail file will actually help you with a multitude of sins, and no one will know. There we go, and they are all gone. So I will be using my Xyron Creative Station. This is the one that is 5 inches wide. I believe there's a 9-inch, a 5-inch, and the little sticker maker. So I'll be using these to adhere everything on my card. So first up, I will be running this piece and this piece through my sticker maker. All right, so how you use the Creative Station, if y'all don't already know, is it opens up like this, and you feed, like this arrow shows, you feed your media through and it adheres it on the back and it comes out this side, and you have a handle that you turn. Let me zoom out just a little bit so y'all can see everything in action. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this strip, and let's see, that is not quite wide enough for that, so we'll do this and we'll do the big sentiment. There we go, and then you turn and it comes through And then we're also gonna do this one. And then right here you have this orange cutter. You push down and you slide it across and it's done. Close it up, flip it up, turn it backwards so you don't lose any of your sticker paper. And what I like to do is really burnish the back of the items that I run through, just so that adhesive sticks to the back of it. Burnish everything, and then I also like to go around the edges. Like, I know that you don't necessarily need to do this, but I like to go around the edges just to make sure that that adhesive is not going to be kind of sticking off to the sides once I pull it off the sticker backing paper. And it doesn't take too long. It's a little extra step, but it just ensures an amazing final product. There we go, and then just peel that top layer off, and voila, you have stickers. I'm just going to cut these apart so I can work with them each individually. So since I decided that my first element was going to be this lovely black stripe, I am going to be adhering that first. I'm not going to take all the backing paper off first. I'm just going to take a little portion off the back, pull it up, and then just crease it so I can kind of get the measurements correct. Line it up with the bottom, get it in the center. And you know, I could use the grid lines on my mat to help me line up things. And I can just roll this up the back. There we go, adhere that down, and then I can fold this back just a little bit, run my scissors along this edge, and then I still have more of that. And I won't be wasting that at all. Next, I'm going to position my flower. And I'm going to do the same technique with that. I'm going to fold up the sticker paper partially on the back so I can kind of align it, because this paper is kind of transparent. Then I'm just going to line this up with the bottom. There we go. And then pull the rest of the paper out and turn it over and cut off the excess from the back. All right, and that is looking really great. I put that little swatch of extra flour. We could potentially use that for something else, or it could just go like in a junk journal or something like that. Don't throw away your scraps. And then lastly, we have the BU sentiment. And as I did with the previous two, I'm going to pull it back just a little bit to kind of get everything aligned correctly. And you know what? Tara on the Teresa Collins design team did have a really great tip, which I'm going to use right now. It is a T-ruler, and it really helps lining things up. So this is just one that I got from Michael's because it's an Artist Loft brand. So you just line up this edge, or whatever edge you want to have a straight line with. And then, since I want this to be straight, since most everything is straight on this card, I don't want to leave this out. And so I think I want this kind of towards the top half of the card. So I'm just gonna line this up in between the two, and I'm not gonna have to worry about whether this is straight or not, because I'm just butting this up against the edge of the ruler. And this really, really is a great tip. Thank you, Tara. And then stick that down, and then just roll your sticker paper up. And there we go. We have a beautiful card front. Now let's work on the inside. Now I pulled these three die cuts from the Bold Life collection, and I have this really great kind of pastel-y, peachy pink color not quite a Teresa Collins pink, but I think it will go. And I want to do a little bit of a strip on the side and have these coming off. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and then I will run these through my Xyron sticker maker. Right now I have 2 different size strips, and I'll decide which one I like better. I don't think I'm gonna have it straight up at the edge. I think I want it over a little bit. Do I want that? Or do I want this? I think the thinner strip is going to work. So that's what I will do. All right, and there is our card inside. And I think this will be a really great encouragement card for the card swap. Definitely go ahead and join. I will link in the description box below. You do have to be a VIP group member in order to participate. But other than that, all right, there we go. There is the beautiful card. Be you, beautiful, confident, and independent. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on all things social, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!